Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. This is part one of a two-part masterclass called How to Master Manifestation. So this was a live masterclass held on Zoom, and I wanted to offer the replay for you here. Keep in mind, because it was on Zoom, the participants were looking at slides, so we'll just do our best with the audio version. If you do want a copy of the slides to download, which has the formula, it's the graphs and the charts that we're talking about in the masterclass, as well as the prompts to start creating a daily manifestation practice, you can actually purchase that below for just $11. So if you would like to see the graphs, the charts, the stuff we're talking about, of course, with audio, you will be able to understand. But if you want to take it that step further and really integrate this masterclass deeper, you can purchase that below for just $11. So without further ado, let's dive into How to Master Manifestation, the masterclass, part one. I hope you enjoy. Welcome, my loves, to How to Master Manifestation. Okay, so today, this masterclass is How to Master Manifestation. We have two parts because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to go over. Some of the things you're going to hear today, you may have heard other people talk about. You may have heard me talk about. What I encourage you to do is really be in the open-hearted space of what is here for me today. So even creating a little prayer to yourself, like, allow me to receive what is here for me today. Because I, as a student of life, as well as you, I'm always learning. And sometimes there's things that I hear in a slightly different way that I'm like, oh, damn, that was the missing piece, or that now really makes sense. So you guys are all knee-deep seekers. I'm talking to a bunch of old souls, wise people, smart, intelligent, beautiful seekers on the path. I know you guys know some of this stuff, but there's also going to be some more today. There's going to be a little more of the depth, a little more of the Talia, which is what I'm learning to unleash as I teach manifestation, and I'm just excited. So allow us to receive what is here for us today, what we ultimately came for, whether it's something we realize or not, spirit, source, angels, higher self, future self, whatever you want to pray to, allow me to receive what is here for me today. So truly, during this training and in this time in your life, this is all about coming back to realizing that you are a deliberate creator. And I know, again, that you know that, but it is incredible how often we go about our day going, I don't know how to do this, or the thing I want is separate from me, is outside of my control or my hands, or even if you know it's within your control, but it feels like, well, how the hell am I going to do that? And I've been trying. This is where we deepen what it means to be a deliberate creator. And this is the big difference between maybe myself a year ago or so, even 6 months ago, and stepping deeper into like, shit, we truly do create our reality. And it's a beautiful, magical gift that we are given here. It's part of the package of being a human. It's free will. It's the ability to create. And it's time to remember that on a soul level even more. So you're in the right place today, just to just in case there's anybody that's not here for, the right or the like-mindedness, the reason why we're here. So you're in the right place if you're ready to no longer be stuck, to be kind of trying the same things over and over again, or unsure what to do to manifest what you are here for. You're in the right place if you're confused about all the contradictory information on manifestation. That's something you might have to just get comfortable with, because this is a universe of and. We can be triggered and we can be manifesting. We can be feeling lack and also bring in feelings of abundance. We can be grieving and also feeling love and gratitude. This is a double experience. So sometimes in manifestation, it does feel contradictory, but you've probably heard like, be the thing, and then like, but don't control it too much, but write everything out really specifically, but don't like helicopter parent your desire. And sometimes it gets a little bit confusing. So if that's been the case for you, you're in the right place, definitely. And if, like me, you are hearing, and it's stronger and stronger, that gentle whisper of there is something more for you here. And it's coming from your soul, and I'm sure you know that or have a little feeling about that. That is also an indicator that you're really in the right place, because this shit's deep, but it results in you living a magical life. So, and if you also feel just truly ready, I get to these points where I'm like, fuck it, I'm ready. And these are good. These are a form of rock bottom, but a rock bottom is sometimes not just my life is falling apart. It can be those times when something causes you to pull out that grit and go, I am ready. Like there is more for me. I don't want to live in this pattern anymore. Almost like whatever it is at this point, let's do this, roll the sleeves up. You are ready. So if you truly feel like you're ready, this is what we're diving into today. And I know that you're absolutely in the right place. Okay, so if this isn't you, I wanted to add this in for fun, feel free to go do something more awesome with your time because it may not be, your jam. If you're not here for manifestation, growth, hacks, expansion, then you've wandered into the wrong Zoom room and you can go do something, go for a walk, go out in nature. But if this is you, which I have a feeling it is, I'm excited. Let's dive in. So for any of you that are new, there are some new names. You may have listened to the podcast. I'd actually love to hear if you want to drop in the chat how you got here. Was it on the podcast? Is it email? How did you find me? I'd love to hear. I just find it so fascinating. But if you're new here, I'll just do a very brief intro. This isn't about me. This is about you. But first of all, my name is Talia Joy. I'm a bestie in your awakening. I'm an old soul on the path here to really help you to turn in and remember that deliberate creator. I consider myself an activator, which means I notice that as people are on that edge of like, I am ready for more magic, I come in and can expand your consciousness, your magnetism. It's not me doing it, it's you doing it, but through this message, through this channel, it's truly when you're here on that precipice and you're ready. I'm not here to convince you that you're ready. I'm not here to be like, come on, you can do it. Of course, I probably say you could do it, but you're ready. And that's the place where I really come in is when you're hungry on a soul level. Oh, listening to the podcast. Awesome. And so I'm a bestie in your awakening journey. I'm a manifestation mentor. I am a podcast host. I've got 2 podcasts. On the Path is a subscription one with my signature methodology. And then the Awakening Her podcast. I've been doing that for over 3 years now, which just blows my mind. Also, I'm an intuitive channel. So I'm primarily clairaudient when it comes to spirit. So I hear things. I'm one of those people. I'm also, because I'm an empath, I'm clairsentient, which is about feeling. Got a few different intuitive types going on, but definitely a channel here to translate and reflect out how this experience works. That's like what I've been obsessed with forever. While I was struggling, while I was a teenager, I was always so observant and fascinated with humans and transformation. And so now I use my channel to portray the way spirit sees this journey. And I'm always hearing things that are new, that are like, oh my goodness, yeah, I never heard it like that. Or that's the perfect way to explain it. Awesome. So a lot of what I'm doing, it's not me particularly. I come in with the practices that have worked, maybe the weird Talia analogies that sometimes go sour, but spirit's the one really translating the goods or giving me the goods. I'm also a mom of 3. I've got 3 kids right now. 13 is the oldest, 10 and 4. So I've been, doing toddlers and children for a long time, and now a 13-year-old, which is very interesting. So I'm also a Canadian. I'm an island girl living on the west coast of Canada on Vancouver Island. I love it here. I'm obsessed. I'm also a lefty, for any of you that care about that random fact. A human design reflector, which does come into my gifts. It also comes into when I work with my clients, I reflect back to you your own light, as well as sometimes like some helpful reflections on maybe things you didn't realize were going on inside. I can read that energy and reflect it back to you. Instead of me just telling you what to do, I come to shine a mirror on your strengths, your gifts, and then also where maybe, something isn't working. So that's part of being a human design reflector, also a Scorpio, an empath. Freedom is my jam. I want freedom in my mind, freedom in my schedule, freedom in my bank account, freedom in my body. I want freedom in all the ways. And that's probably my primary driver of why I do this stuff. Is, on a soul level, it's to grow, but on a human level, it's like, I don't want to be held back by anything, whether it's my own mind or someone else's schedule or whatever. I'm here for that. And I'm also an old soul. So in all of this stuff, it sounds so great. And if you were to like list all your stuff, we all sound badass. But at the same time, I'm also, anyone that knows me personally, which there are quite a few of you here, you know I'm a very normal human and I've struggled a lot in my life. I've really struggled with being in this experience, being sensitive, being deep, almost cripplingly self-aware. Let me know if anyone can. It's like, oh, I'm, witnessing my own resistance. I'm witnessing my own anxiety. I'm in it, but I'm witnessing it. So sometimes it can be a deep journey, and I've struggled a lot in my life. So some of you have known this, to the self-aware. I've experienced bullying, low self-worth, low self-confidence, addiction to substances, but mostly to numbing. Like I was addicted to just escaping and numbing because this wasn't a good place to be. So I experienced that, an eating disorder, chronic pain since I was 12, a lot of overwhelm, a lot of feeling like I just don't belong, a lot of feeling awkward and left behind and alone. And, I really have these very real wounds that I now work with and work, in healing, these healing modalities and work through, because this is my story and you have your story. And I really truly believe that these things we've experienced end up giving us our gifts. It might give you the gift of empathy or how caring and compassionate you are because you know what it's like to struggle. There's a lot of things that come from these times, but it's been a lot of struggle. Like 80% of my life, I think, has been dense struggle. And I'm just starting to really discover what it's like to live without that constant struggle. And it's amazing. And I can't wait to talk all about that here. Your therapist recommended the podcast. That's awesome. I love that. That's so good. So at the same time of all this stuff, I have been obsessed with the law of attraction since I was a teenager. I was always fascinated. I was reading ghost stories and asking my mom, like, what happens when you die? And like, when grandpa dies, is he going to come visit me? Because I'd really like him to visit me. And like, it would be good if it was on his birthday. And I was like all down with the spirit world. I've always been fascinated with past lives and what the meaning of this is and space. And like, even just as I was mentioning a minute ago, the human condition, transformation. I still do, but I love like true crime. So I'm like, oh, the mind of like a criminal. Like it's just always this fascination with how we work and also the something more. And that's the part that led me to all of this work. So just a few years ago, even though I've been studying manifestation for so long, I felt really stuck. So I was doing a lot of the things, but I just didn't have the money yet in the business, which stuff takes time, but I just always felt in lack, in scarcity. I was triggered. I never felt fully confident. I was always just feeling this overwhelm and like I was just struggling and I was stuck in my body, tons of pain, and I really just didn't know what else to do. I had my own version of rock bottoms of like, come on, what am I missing? And then the quantum came in, where some of you were in my membership around that time of like quantum manifestation starting to come in and this embodiment of our next level. And that led me to more of like, how do I become that? And that kept me going on my journey, but I was really stuck and I was doing all the things that I knew, but nothing was changing. So I've realized now, and this is what we're talking about today, is there's a formula to it and we're on a growth journey. So now, if any teacher is leaving out the part of personal growth and transformation, I personally know that it's not for me, just because that part is so key in my experience and has been the thing that just made all of the difference. So I remember getting into manifestation. Some of you can relate. Maybe it was The Secret or whatever. And it's like, okay, be a match to what you want. Be the millionaire energy. And you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. Let's do this. Okay, wait, how do I do that? And then it's like, oh, well, it's really like in your mindset and you have to like have better energy. And you're like, okay, cool. Wait, how do I do that? And it's like, oh, well, you got to like remove all your blocks and remove all your limiting beliefs. And you're like, okay, cool. How do I do that? And it's like, oh, well, you have to heal and grow and transform. And you get back to this place where you're like, shit, manifestation is not just 1, 2, 3. It's a growth journey. It's an expansion journey. And there's so much magic and so much that happens very quickly. I never want to leave out the actual magic of manifestation, but it's also this journey that we go on and we become that person more than just writing out the things we want. So That is what I've started really tapping into now, and more about embodiment and more about the healing and the growing and the being, and then taking that to inspire my actions, which we're getting all into that. But that is when things really took off. And this is just some random screenshots I took of the last couple months of some of it is income, some of it is angel numbers, podcast stats. It's like up. I'm like, wow, what did I do on January 21st? That was a crazy day. But actually that was a day I almost totally took off and ended up going to the beach with bare feet. So that's what embodiment does. But really just starting to feel so much better. I'm releasing weight, clearer channel, clearer intuition, more confidence. All of these things are great. But when you put them all together, it really shows me like, oh shit, there's a huge shift going on. And I've really tapped in, even just again, the last few months, into how much deeper this journey goes and or how to tap into it sooner. So you're here for the freedom you want to create and the abundance and the radiant health and all of that. And it all gets to come together at the same time. So it wasn't until I took the traditional manifestation practices and updated them that I started seeing way more results. When I started working with the universe and my soul instead of against it, then the magic really started to happen. And some of you that have been listening to the podcast, you've been hearing me talk about this more. We are in a co-creation with spirit. And we're going to get to this way more tomorrow. We're going to touch on it today. But if we are not getting the memo on a soul level, you as an old soul, it may be different for somebody else, but you as an old soul, if you're not getting the memo, it's going to always feel like, I don't know about you, but I always tried to like cut corners. I'm like, I'll just figure out my mom's stuff once I learn to manifest money. And it's like, I realized that shit, I had a little bit of work to do inside. But when I started doing that growth work, even little by little, it was just like things started to really take off because our spirit team, our soul cares more that we're getting the memo than just if we're rich. But we can have both, which is the exciting part. So you guys know this, but you can't fake your vibration. You can't force yourself to be high vibe all the time. And that's like the fundamental first thing that I just see over and over and over. It is true. We're going to get into a vibration little graph in a second. It is true that when you are high vibration, you attract high vibration things, but you can't fake that shit. It's like, you know, they see you when you're sleeping, they know when you're awake. That's weird, but it's like you cannot fake how you're truly doing inside and how you really feel about money, about relationships, about your body. It's like you can be like, my body's strong and healthy, my body's strong and healthy. But when you go to move and you're like, or like, and you go back into, no, it's not. We can't fake that shit. So we're constantly being bogged down with not enoughness, with triggers, with frustrations. That messes with our vibe. And if you're like me, my vibe's like all over the place when I'm not regulating it. I feel great and on fire. And then like a bill comes or it's a tight month and I'm like, shit, it's not happening. And that up and down creates up and down manifestations. It's truly about really starting to even that out. So with this manifestation formula, you start to become the person you see in your mind's eye. Your vibe will shift, and then you're naturally magnetic. And that's the part I think a lot of people don't think about. You may, because you're in my community, we're like-minded, but it's like instead of having to manifest the money and then having to manifest the this and having to manifest, why not just become magnetic? And then whatever you choose to put your focus on, wherever you point your heart, it will be drawn toward you versus trying to claw after it. I'm done clawing. I ain't got time for that shit. I'm in my non-hustle era. I don't want to force stuff. I don't want to go hard and cut all my carbs and whatever else. It's like I want to live in harmony with myself, live in harmony with this life, and then be naturally magnetic. And that's where good stuff happens. And then when you choose to focus your heart on something, it gets pulled toward you. So this is what I'm teaching in the manifestation code coming up, which you guys have today. Actually, the doors are officially open. In your inbox today, you're going to get a coupon code for $100 off that is valid for a couple days if you're wanting to go on a deep dive journey. I'm not going to go too much into it in this because today we're talking about the manifestation formula, but I am taking everybody through a 10-week journey. There's extra workshops on the body and on money. There's activations. There's week by week multi-week modules and conversations. And this is a soul ascension and manifestation process. So it won't be calling everybody, but if you feel that readiness in your soul, at least checking it out, I would love to see you there. We're starting toward the end of February, so really, soon in a couple weeks. And it's all about this magnetism. So when you see that, you can check it out. This transformative experience is going to be, it's like activated, plus I've added more of what I've learned in the last few years and really making it a formula. So you can check for that in your inbox as well. Okay, so we're diving in. Because traditional manifestation pieces, I've already started talking about this, are often only offering one piece of the puzzle. Often what happens and what I see in my community and with myself, there's like two main problems is no matter what we do, we're not really moving closer. And that's what I've found. There's a lot of things that I'm like, I've been saying I want that for a long time, but I'm not yet actually ready. So the more I just kind of put it up on my thing and okay, by, December 30th, I'm going to do this and kind of like a hope, it's like progress is very slow or you're just not moving closer. Or you keep experiencing the same patterns. So like lack, frustration, feeling let down, feeling alone, feeling like spirit's not there for you or you're just not heard, or self-sabotage when we're stuck in these patterns over and over. So maybe just identifying within yourself right now, is there one of these patterns? Because it'll be helpful to actually apply this as we're talking about it. So if there is self-sabotage, if there is procrastination or lack, it just no matter how much you try, you're always back at hovering around zero in the bank account or feeling that way. So just really identifying that within yourself. And this is because there is more. So oh my gosh. No system update. We're trying to do something here. Okay. Sorry, guys. Real life. Okay, so the manifestation foundations. Okay. We just roll with technology. We breathe through and we roll. Okay. So we're going to go over some basics here that you do know that are true. So your desire has a certain frequency. So this is the place where, because you've heard this before, remain open to what is new for you here, a new level of understanding. The desire you have, whether it's optimal health, mental well-being, physical well-being, you want love, you want money, you want clients, success in some way, your desire has a certain frequency. So because of the law of attraction, right? Like attracts like, we only attract what we're putting out. This is pretty basic law of attraction stuff. But to think about the fact that your desires live in a vibrational frequency. So when you are wanting money or freedom or health, that's all going to be high vibe. I'm sure you don't crave more fear, rage, or anxiety into your life, right? You're shooting up. We're always wanting something that is higher than where we are because in our mind, it's better, it's desirable, right? So the desire lives up in a high vibrational frequency. And as you know, we can only manifest who we are being right now, which is why they say you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with, or birds of a feather flock together. It's like attracts like, right? So you have to get yourself into a higher vibration. And when you do, your desires will 100%. And this is a place where sometimes we go will it? And you just hook onto my wagon of faith. And just know that when you are in that vibration, your desires 100% will start trickling into your experience. It's law. We experience this all the time. The better it gets, the better it gets. The worse it gets, the worse it gets, right? One thing goes and you drop your keys and then you bang your elbow and then you get bad news and then you got traffic and it's like attracts like. So this is the part of law of attraction and manifestation that is true. And sometimes I've gone so deep to the other side that I go, wait a minute, back to vibration, back to feeling good, back to, really trying to feel better in my life. But just know that as truth, that when you are in that higher vibration, you will start attracting new things into your experience. So here's a little fun colored charty thing. So on the left, We have the vibrations of the different emotions you can feel. And there are more nuance. They're not just these 5 categories, but this is, roughly. So shame and guilt are the lowest vibrating emotions that there are. And I'm just going to be a little bit heavy for a second. I believe that those are the emotions that have people do the most harmful things to themselves, including not wanting to be here anymore or self-destruction. It is shame and it is guilt. It is shame over what we've done and haven't done, or what has been done to us, or how we feel that we are. It's guilt about basically everything. I'm not enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Maybe even guilty for feeling bad or guilty for feeling good. Shame and guilt are the lowest vibrating emotions. So if you go over to the other graph there, you see that from that place, we are directly attracting dis-ease. So when I say that, I'm not just talking medical disease, I'm talking dis-ease, disharmony. We're feeling blocked. Things are getting worse. And this is the place where momentum is real. When the better it gets, the better it gets when we're spiraling up. And when we self-destruct, we just go down. And I've been in many times where I'm like, this spiral is going to go down. And I might not be here anymore if I don't make it through this thing. Because when we are in that lowest place, we cannot attract anything higher. We just can't see it. If you've ever been in a time where you've been really insecure, maybe it's your body, or maybe it's, something about yourself. You don't feel worthy or whatever. And someone's like, no, I love you. You're beautiful. And it's like, it does nothing. Like you hear their words and you're like, oh, thanks. It just does nothing because you're not a match. But if you're even in the middle going like, I'm learning to love myself, and someone's like, I think you're amazing. You're like, really? And you can kind of reach up to them. But when you're low, and that's how we see reality. We cannot bring into our perceived reality anything that we don't believe. Our brain is always making us right. So from that place, we just cannot manifest more. So then you look up, right? There's fear, pessimism, anger. When you're feeling those things, you are directly manifesting frustration, nothing working, inaction. So even looking for yourself, if there's anything on the right there that you're currently manifesting or wanting to manifest, and then kind of looking over and going, okay, so what do I need? So when we're in courage or when we're in hope, hope is a good one, because hope is like, I really hope this works out. That doesn't ask a lot of you. Faith and trust can ask a little more of you, but sometimes hope is a good one. Like, I have hope that this is working for me somehow. I have hope that I'll somehow make it through. That's going to bring more optimism. It's going to bring clarity. It's going to start to trickle in blessings and relief. So then when we get over to joy and gratitude, that genuine feeling of excitement, that's when we start bringing in freedom and empowerment and more blessings and abundance. And that tippy top place is somewhere that not everybody ascends to in this lifetime. If you're here, it is written into your blueprint. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying that generically. It's truly, if you're drawn, your soul is so ready that you are drawn to a lifetime where you could, if you choose, to step into that fullest expression. So if we're in love, if we're in openness, in receptivity, that is when we bring in enlightenment or higher consciousness and the fullest expression of our manifestations. So I could be successful and get by, or I could write a best-selling book. I could tour the world. I could impact thousands or millions. Fullest expression. If I want to go for that, that does involve climbing up the ladder on the left. I cannot stay in fear and pessimism and expect to get on stages, expect to feel transcended, expect to not be mad at my mom or feel total peace in my body. So we do have to start working the scale and getting into a bit of a higher vibration. So if you choose in this lifetime to become a clear match, I know those are big words, but we have absolute free will. We're going to talk about this more tomorrow. There are soul contracts, soul assignments that are given to us that are somewhat fixed. But in between all of that, we have free will. You have the choice to rise or not, to heal or not, to ascend and transform your suffering or not. And either way you learn. Either way up there, it's all gravy. Like, It's not that they don't care, it's that you're learning either way. And you've had lots of lifetimes you didn't choose because it's hard, because it's sticky, because it's emotional, because it stretches you. It's like shoving you into a cold bath every day of your life. Like, this path is not easy. But when you become a clear match for what you want, you absolutely will manifest it, and you don't have to try so hard. So right now, you are automatically manifesting who you are being, which is why there's more blessings that have come into your life lately, I'm sure. There's been shifts. There's been times where you've handled something different than you used to. Maybe a new job opportunity or heart friends that have come into your life. Or maybe you're making more money. There is progress because you've made progress. So there's progress in your life lately, the last year, the last 6 months, because you've been going there. And imagine what's possible once we expand even more, and that's going to be the rest of your life. Like, that's what I say to my clients. That's what I say to my husband. Like, I'm just going to be climbing the ladder the rest of my life, which means there's no other option but inevitable success, because I will keep showing up for myself and pushing through these places. So what truly blocks us is when we are not being a match to what we want. Like, let's just make it really simple. It's not just your mom or just your trauma or just your one core wound that blocks you. I wish I could get into the full extent of how there is no blocks, but that would just take us to the left. But when we are blocked, it is just a moment, a time, even if it's 5 years, where we're not in alignment with what we say we want. We say we want health, but we keep going into the same unhealthy patterns, going like, I really want health. I feel blocked. It's just literally like you're not being what you say you want. And that's not in shame. We're going to dive deeper into that. Like, this is the evolution journey. There are ways I am not being my next level yet. That's because we're always expanding. There's ways that I am being now a next level that 6 months ago I was like, I hope I can do that. But there's more. We're always evolving. So when we're quote unquote blocked, it's just mismatch. There's mismatched energy inside. I want abundance, but I haven't learned how to value myself. Okay, so those two things butt up. Or, I want health, but I always fall into self-sabotage. Okay, those just butt up against each other. And we're going to get into how we get unblocked. So how do we become a match for what we want? So getting unblocked, we will get to that in 2 seconds. And here we are. So when we get unblocked, getting unblocked from our manifestation, between us and our manifestation is just energy. When we become a match, we start bringing it in. To get unblocked, we ask, where is my energy misaligned with what I say I want? And this is inventory. We're doing some audits today. We're going to do some audits tomorrow. We're really looking at ourselves because I want this for you. Sometimes, like with my clients, I'm just like, I want this so bad for you. Do you want it for you? And they're like, yeah, I'm ready. It's like, let's really look at it. Where are you misaligned with what you say you want? No shame. Remember, lowest vibration, no shame. There's no story attached, but just, okay, I say I want health, but I tend to do this. Or I say I want more money, but money freaks me out. Or whatever. Where is your energy misaligned? Where are your actions misaligned? What beliefs do I have that directly contradicts what's coming to me? So if you guys want to take screenshots, I don't know if anyone's thought of that. You can, because there isn't the video replay as of now that's going to be available. You can if you want to take screenshots of this stuff. So what beliefs do I have that directly contradict? Where am I playing small? Where am I acting in low self-worth? So when we get to this place, so let's just be real here, because I'm in this with you. I want to do live events. I am also fucking terrified. We're working on it. What I realized is I'm terrified to be seen because I was bullied, because I was turned on, because I was bullied for my body. So every time I'm like, okay, this is the year we're doing a live event. I'm like, maybe you should just do some emails. Oh, the dishes need to be done. Oh, what was that? And I'm like running off. Did somebody call me? No. Oh, the floor needs to be swept. Seriously, I avoid. I put it off. So one day, not very long ago, I'm like, okay, what is it? And I didn't realize the bullying was coming up. I didn't realize that literally the fear of people seeing me in person and going like, ha ha, you're not as cool as I thought you were, or you're pretty normal. It scares me. It's rejection. It's terrifying. So I look and I go, where's my energy misaligned with what I say I want? I say I want stage presence. I'm scared. So I work on what comes up in that. And for me, I realized it was partly that, the bullying and that going on, judgment. And so I'm working with giving myself that healing energy. And when I say, where are my actions misaligned? I'm like, well, I've taken 0 action, so that's a place that's misaligned. I mean, over like the last 2 years, I've talked to lots of venues and there's been action, but as far as down payments, dates decided, like I'm scared. So that is something that I haven't physically moved it forward more than to a certain extent. What beliefs do I have? Well, I'm terrified that everybody is going to, I guess it would probably be abandon, because that's like the core of the wound. I know we're getting super deep, but it's like reject, not like me, whatever it is. Okay, so those beliefs are kind of creating some energy inside. Where do I play small? Well, I'm not actually moving forward in it. So these are things that when I just sit here and go, I want to do live events. Scripting by 2027, I'll be doing live events, but not moving forward. That's me being blocked. But it's all just very real human stuff. And sometimes it's deep and sometimes it's emotional, but I promise you that what's on the other side is worth it. So just starting to ask yourself, and you notice that even as I'm sharing, I'm not shaming myself. And you have to really be aware of that, because that's what we do. It's like, well, I'm not even taking action, so how do I even expect? No, it's very real wounding that I have so much empathy and compassion for. When someone's like, I can't trust the universe, and we look at the fact that they couldn't trust their parents, we don't turn around and go, well, just trust the universe. We need to work through that. That's very real conditioning. So when we look at all these stuff, and when I go through with the live events, I go, congrats, you found your upper limit. And this is what needs to be pushed through in order to manifest what you desire. So now is the time that we start being and doing and evolving into a match. And I got to be honest with myself. Do I really want that? Do you really want the health, the happiness, the money? I mean, probably your answer is going to be yes, but do you really want it? And what are you willing to do? It's not going to be hard work like building a house, but it's going to stretch you. So what are you willing to do to become a match for your desires? Are you willing to cultivate that devotion to yourself and go, I'm worth it? Whether it's stretching or journaling or, going to a yoga class or whatever it is, what are these things that we can stretch that growth edge to slowly move through? So this in the middle, that beautiful star, is your manifestation. And when we bring together, and I'm going to explain sort of like how much we have to do and how the energy works, but when we bring together the doing, the being, and the assignment, this is where the magic happens. And forever, I was oscillating between the doing and the being, but I wasn't fully accepting the growth assignment, which for me has been like, show up for yourself. You are worth it. It's just, for me, part of my growth assignment has been learning how to show up for myself, how to not self-abandon, how to, do yoga, go for a walk, treat my nervous system, like regulating, taking care of myself. Because if I'm just like doing all the things to try to be successful, but I'm a frazzled mess in here, in my work, I can't do what I'm doing. But when it translates into health, remember the scale. If you're depleted and run ragged and not feeling good inside, how can you expect to manifest Daffy Duck money where you're rolling around in coins? Let's shift it to bills. So as we go through this journey, I want you to think about the being, the doing, and then the assignment. And in some ways, this is a lot of the times how it goes. So as we start going, okay, who do I need to be? And we're going to get deeper into this. Who do I need to be? What is the being of the version? Like, who is the me that has won the lottery, that has written a New York Times bestseller, that has overcome my lifelong mental health issues or struggles? Who is the version of me that's confident with myself, right? You've heard me talk about this, of course, with the quantum, that version of you, and just starting to ask yourself that and like, what is their energy like? We've talked about this a lot if you've listened to the podcast. What is their, their thoughts, their optimism level, their faith, their daily habits, and just incrementally starting to play with that energy. And in the manifestation code, if you do decide to join, I'm teaching the rapid embodiment technique, which some of you have actually just been learning in other containers. And it is next fucking level. But the being part of the embodiment, like where can you be her? Even for 30 seconds, or him or them or whatever resonates with you, where can you start to adopt that energy? And from that place, looking at what kind of things does she do, right? What does that energy, if I was in that faith and trust and self-love, what types of things does she do to move toward her goal? So for me, with the live event thing, for example, I've been going to work and working with someone on deeper healing of being seen. But I've also been working with myself and like that energy of like, okay, no matter what happens, I love and accept myself. And even if people laughed at you or turned away, which who does that as adults, really? It's like a kid fear, right? They're all gonna like huddle around me in a circle. Like who actually does that? Unless we're chanting and like throwing our bras up, that kind of circle I'm down with. But, even if that happened, even if I'm not someone's cup of tea, even if someone sent me a mean message or, walked away going, I want my money back, I still love and accept myself. Okay. So I start getting into that energy of like, no matter what people think of me, I'm enough and I'm going to show up and I'm going to shine my light. And I know that my magic is here to be shared. And I kind of work myself into that more magnetic energy. And then what kind of things does she do? Well, even for me, she's looking after her body and she's looking after her mental, emotional well-being. So when we start to look at the being, allow that to drive the doing. So the opposite, which is what some of you may have been doing, is like, what do I do to manifest.com? Oh, write in a journal. Oh, write it out at the new moon, which I'm all about. But that in itself isn't the secret. It is, what is your higher self guiding you to do? What types of things does that version of you do? Is she taking her vitamins? Is she investing in herself with her health or her development or whatever it is, like what types of things, and then starting to notice what comes up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be this version of me. And like, what kind of things does she do? Well, she's mapping out the event and how it's going to go. And she's doing yoga and she's not perfect. This isn't 100% everything perfect. This is just like, what's her general vibe? Who is she being, right? And then what is she doing? And then I start to notice what comes up. So as I start actually looking at dates, I start to feel like that little bit of anxiety inside. And I'm like, okay, something's coming up. And that's when we meet it with a growth mindset. So as much as it's one to the next, once you're knee deep as you are, it kind of becomes like a pile of spaghetti where sometimes we are really focused on the being. And toward the end of this, as in a few minutes, we're going to really focus on a daily practice and what you can do until tomorrow to really start launching this. So we're going to bring it back to more tangible. But sometimes we are like, okay, what is she being? Okay. Or who is she being? Okay, she's doing that. And then you know what? I'm going to go for a walk before I get into my work day. That is totally something she would do that's in alignment. Let's do that. And then as I'm on the walk, I'm like, oh crap, I shouldn't really be taking this time for myself. Cause and like Phil's at home with the kids and I bet he's stressed and I start feeling guilt and shame. And I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. Okay. And then that's when, and if you haven't learned these tools, I highly recommend learning these tools. Of course, in the manifestation code, we're going to talk about it, but just on your own, even self-resourcing to go like, okay, even though I'm feeling guilt and shame, I love and accept myself and I'm worth this walk. Okay. And then I keep walking and then something creeps up of like, oh my goodness, that client, that email, that something else. Oh, we should cut it short and cut through. And I'm like, no, I am worth this walk. So sometimes it's like we're thrown into the pool of growth, but we have to be aware what's coming up during our manifestation journey. And you have the plan inside you more than somebody else has the plan. So sometimes like we're thrown around because manifestation isn't linear. It's an ongoing process. And instead of that making it less tangible, almost allow that to be like, oh, okay, like it's inevitable. You will step into what you desire for yourself, because the option is not like, are you all of a sudden not going to be a seeker? Are you all of a sudden not going to do the therapy or the self-help books? Or, you're always going to be growing. Look how much you've changed in the last year. Imagine 5 years from now. Your fucking success is inevitable. You're not going to go backwards from here. And we're scared of that sometimes. It's, what if I slip into the darkness? My darkness calls hard. But you've got too many feet in this light now. You know too much. You know that your soul's whispering. So just surrendering into like, okay, manifestation isn't this big, mysterious process or formula. It's an ongoing process of becoming all that I am. And yes, when we point our focus on one thing, I'm going to get to that in a minute for the example of like, I want money. Okay, what do I do? We do make it tangible, but you have to understand this part first, or else you're forever looking for the magic journal prompt. You're looking and you're asking, what am I doing wrong? Stop asking that. That's guilt, that's shame, that's self-doubt. You're not doing anything wrong. Being a human is so messy. It's so complicated. Like our spirit team is just like, ooh, like we do not want to like we do not envy you. That's kind of what they're saying sometimes, because it's a dense, heavy experience. So just know that it's an ongoing process. And the more you surrender into that, often the quicker it happens. It's like ground down to rise up and slow down to speed up. And all, it's like sometimes when we just go, okay, that's when things start coming, because we're more in alignment with what's really going on here and our soul. So simply manifestation is about becoming that version of you, becoming an energetic match and a clear channel for what you desire. And it's energy. So as you do a little something, something comes in. As you do a little bit of expansion here, something comes in. I hear this all the time. I notice in my own life, but having the privilege of talking to so many clients literally every day, I am constantly hearing, I have a client that, was really going through something, and it's been so hard for her, and it's to do with like her partner, and it's just really difficult. And she came to a place of acceptance that was really inspiring. And the way she handled herself was so different. I'm not going to get into the details, but I was like, wow, how did you, deal with it in this way? And she's going, well, I really tried to think about like his point of view and surrendering to like what this is and all this. And then all of a sudden her business was looking for a new retail space. And this call came in that like this space is available. And then this other thing came in for equipment she was looking for. And it was like, oh, this just fell into my lap. And she's like, do you think that that surrender allowed these other things in? And I'm like, absolutely. So I know that sounds weird with not a lot of context, but every time we breathe a little bit into our next level, blessings come in. You might be seeing angel numbers like crazy. You might be finding dimes everywhere. Those things, they just appear everywhere. You might starting to feel synchronicity, starting to feel better. And then like, oh, this job interview, that happened this week with a client. We've been working together for a while, and she really wants a new career. And she's like, you won't believe it. We started doing the rapid embodiment technique actually. And then she's like, you wouldn't believe it. 2 companies, reputable companies reached out to me. And she's been the one applying for months and months and months. So little changes create huge results. And I want to just tell you that and tell you that again, because this can feel daunting. Wait, so I have to heal all my shit in order to get an extra $50 for the weekend? Maybe it's the weekend, the artist, or maybe it's the weekend. Okay. But no, it's an ongoing journey of growth. The better it gets, the better it gets. And as you go to work on any one of these categories, you will start to experience more. You will start to see more blessings. Life is always feedbacking off of you. That is one of those things I've seen since I was a teenager. I can see it. You know that family member that always is going on about how sick they are, and then they always seem to be sick? Or how much pain they're in and they always seem to be in pain? Or the person that always is focused on how much money they don't have, and it just feels like shit keeps coming at them. It's not their fault, but it is their reality. And so the more we feed the old story, the more we experience the old story, the more we feed the new way of being, and we go into higher ground right away. You start having those days where the grass is greener and the air just smells so sweet. And you don't even know what the hell happened because nothing actually happened, but you just feel so good today and so grateful and so like, oh, what happened? I don't know, nothing. I'm alive. Those are those indicators. We're not in that all the time, but these are these things that as we break open, we're rewarded. And then as we break open, we are rewarded. And then that momentum comes. So try not to let it be daunting, more just allow yourself to understand the process. It's like if you're swimming from one island to the next, every stroke gets you closer. Every stroke you're making progress. You don't start 3 strokes in and then you're there, but also you're not there the whole time. It's not like you're not there, but you're not there. You are exactly where you're meant to be. You're making the exact progress and you will get there. So every stroke you make helps you manifest. So let that sink into today. Like, oh shit, instead of it being what 700 things do I have to do to get to this big goal, what little things can I do that will amplify my magnetism now? So we're breaking it into 3 categories. There's the doing, the being, and the assignment. Tomorrow we're talking about the assignment and everyday energetics, so more even embodiment and amplifying this. But today we're focusing mostly on the doing and the being. So the doing and the doing is simply the actions you take, and the energy is the energy you carry, and the energy you carry in relation to your goal. So who are you being with money, with health? You know, these things we're talking about, your overall vibe. Are you trying to be optimistic, but secretly you feel like everything is a big crock of shit and it never works out? And if so, that's okay. It's where you're at. It's all good. Do you want money, but you constantly deep down feel like money's hard, money's evil? You know, I'm sure you've been through that stuff with money and hearing some of those narratives you might be carrying. So this is really just about the doing and the being, what you're doing and who you are being in relation to your goal. When I am hating my pain or hating my body, I am in direct resistance to it. When I learn how to give love to my pain, not saying I love the pain, saying I give love to myself. Oh, body, I love you. What do you need? That's the opposite of I hate this. What am I doing wrong? Why am I so blocked? So we just want to look at who we are being, right? And then the assignment, which as I said, we're going to get into more in depth tomorrow, the lessons you're learning, the growth you experience, the soul expansion, the overcoming, the transformation story. You are a transformation story. I know you are. Like you are the butterfly. You are the transformation story. And that's where your potent magic comes from. That's why your friends or the people around you, like to be around you or like to hear what you have to say or that you give, good love, good advice. That's why you've been through so much and like, holy crap, how are you still here? How are you still here, focused on the light, moving forward? It's because you're an overcomer. That's deep in your fucking soul. That's why when we're off the path or in our darkness, it's like crippling because like we know there's more, but like I'm stuck in the dark. But hopefully you've made your way through those densest times. And if not, it's okay. Wherever you're at is perfect. But you are a transformation. You are alchemy. That's why you've probably been drawn to the butterfly and all this, the things that I'm talking about too. So we're starting with the doing. And I want you to start to think of a goal that you have for yourself, just so we can apply this. I will go over an example with money just to kind of really break it all down. So this is 10% of the work. It's not a lot, but without the doing, you'll only ever be 90% there because the physical action is where your manifestation can connect with you. So if you want love, but you physically never leave your house, it's very hard for your lover to find their way to you. Maybe they're like the Purelator driver. That'd be pretty cool. They literally come like ding-a-ling, soulmate. But there is a point where you might go, I'm really inspired to go on Match.com, or I'm really inspired to finally let my friend set me up. Or maybe you're at a restaurant and someone comes to speak to you, and instead of like shutting down and being like, what the hell do they want? You're kind of like, oh, like there's some physical change that does happen when we want to manifest something specific. Taking that inspired action is really important because it shows the universe that you are willing to do your part. And the way that I look at it, which takes the pressure off of if it's the right action, is just I'm showing the universe that my goal means just as much to me as I want it to mean to the universe. Like I'm saying, come on, 20 grand. How much do I care about that 20 grand? That's what the action kind of shows the universe is like, okay, I'm putting on the shoes. I'm going to walk the steps. And that's when we are magically supported. I've used the example on the podcast lately of if you showed up to help somebody move and they're sitting on a lawn chair watching YouTube videos and you're doing all the boxes. Very soon, your willingness to help them kind of starts dwindling when you're like, what the fuck, dude? Are you going to lift a box? It's like, oh, that's why I brought you over here. I thought you'd do it. And you're like, no, I'm helping you move. The universe is helping you manifest. Your soul is helping you ascend. But this is your journey to walk. That's why they're like, oh, we have so much compassion and love for you. Because it is tough, this human journey, but we chose it. We chose Earth School for a reason. I believe that in a lot of the places we could have chosen to exist, Earth is in some ways one of the hardest. But it's really for deep, dense growth fast. So anyway, we need to be willing to show up for ourselves. And there's no wrong action. Just know that. Try to know that. There's nothing wrong. I can't screw this up. So what could I do? That's why we go like, well, what kind of things would she do? My successful self is like taking care of her body or, meditating every once in a while or, taking time for herself, honoring her needs. Okay. When I do those things, I am manifesting. When I go for the walk, I'm manifesting. When I meditate for 15 minutes instead of not, I'm manifesting. I'm just moving myself forward. And then, as I said, in the physical, that's where your manifestations physically move toward you. If I was just praying for clients to come my way, but I wasn't putting myself out there, none of you would have found me. Well, some of us were friends in real life, but you wouldn't have heard the podcast because I wouldn't have a podcast, right? You wouldn't see me on Instagram or whatever because I wouldn't be doing anything. It's important to do. But if I'm just doing all day with nothing to back it up, that's also not magnetic. So the doing is important. So just asking yourself, are you taking action, micro or macro? I'm a big fan of micro actions. Micro or macro, are you taking action toward your goal? Make it easy, make it light, make it fun. It's not so serious. This is a game of play. This is a game of creation. The universe has a great sense of humor, loves the light. Make it easy. Are you taking directions in the direction? Are you taking actions in the directions of your goal? I bet you are. Are you trying new things? Are you open to possibilities? This isn't every day like, oh, I'm learning German now, and oh, I'm learning how to make knots, and oh, I'm learning cool, but it doesn't have to be all the things, but just are you trying new things? Are you open? If something's calling you, I have clients that'll go like, I don't know why, but like somatics keep coming up. Tell me about it. And I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. That's coming into your experience. Let's talk about it. Are you trying new things? Are you open? Are you continuously or continually, I don't know which one is right, showing up for your goals? And this, again, isn't like nose to the grindstone, 50 hours a week, but consistently. Are you consistently showing up for your goals, or are you all or nothing it? Either one's fine. I used to be all or nothing, and I can still fall into that. But it's more like everyday chunks. Drinking water, staying hydrated. You don't just drink a ton of water one day and then go, I'm good for the week. We have to consistently show up for our goals. And think about it like water. Think about it like water. We have to keep sipping. Even if you drank a ton in the morning, pretty soon you're going to pee. And by lunchtime, you're thirsty if you're not already. So we have to be doing the same things, continuously feeding our goals, just trying things. But that's where deep down, we're going to talk about this tomorrow more, but the devotion, the how bad do you want it, that's where this comes in. Are you willing to take a walk on your lunch break or bring your supplements so that you don't forget them? or, whatever it is for you? Are you willing to do that for yourself? Can you find that within? And then investing time, sometimes money, focus, intention into creating the life you want. It is the most worth it ROI you could ever imagine. The return on investment when you put focus on yourself. I look at doing 25 minutes of yoga as an investment in myself. Yesterday, I was waiting for my daughter at dance and I had an hour, and I took my journal to the beach and I just had no music, no stimulation. And I sat there and I took in the waves and I wrote whatever came up. And I just kind of was like, this is an investment in myself. I could sit here on YouTube for an hour and there's probably lots of cool things I could see, but that was an investment in myself. And then I go back and I pick her up and I'm like more ready to like go home and make dinner, final push of the evening, but that felt so good. That's important. When I do that, I am manifesting. I can't explain it, meaning it's not a money manifestation technique. But when I'm looking after myself, I am becoming a magnetic match to that which I desire. So what are you doing? And it's time to be really honest with yourself. Are you taking actions? A lot of times people get stuck in, I don't know how. That's very common. And it'll stop us from taking actions because I don't know how. We need to learn how. We need to find out how. We need to start taking actions and bust through that. So then the being. So the being is 70%, the energy you carry. And think about that goal you have. Who are you being in relation to what you want? How magnetic is your energy? And it's okay if it's not. That's like, it's good. It's good to see and go like, yeah, I'm not really. No shame. It's more helpful information to be like, well, when I'm going like, what's going wrong? Somebody please give me the answer. It's like, okay, we're starting to see. Okay, that's good. How open are you to creative solutions? How open are you to this happening? How open are you to this happening easily for you? What if success could be easy? What if, money could come to you tomorrow? Holy shit, a giant eagle. Maybe they're all giant around here. Just flew like house height. That was crazy. Okay. What if it could be easy? What if it could happen tomorrow? What if your manifestation desires could come easily? What if that was the truth? Would you go, and start being a little bit more in relief? Being a little bit more like, okay, we're taken care of. I just need to keep taking little actions and be open. It's happening. As much as that energy seems passive, it is so much more magnetic. Then what do I have to do? What do I have to do? I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. There's no magic steps. It's you coming home to you. It's you unleashing and reclaiming you. So what is the energy you're carrying? Who you be is determined by what's going on in your head mostly. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your personality, that starts to infiltrate or, become who you are, your identity, your personality. So who are you being in relation to your goal? Are you being consistent? Are you being optimistic? Are you being in excitement? Are you being open? Are you being in faith? Are you being in a growth mindset? Are you devoted? Are you self-responsible? Meaning we're not blaming other people for why we can't move forward, or society or the economy. It's a hard one sometimes because it can feel very real. But at the end of the day, you are the deliberate creator. And if we let them take our power, then it's true. If I can't move on until my mom says sorry, I might be waiting a really long time. If I continually blame her for my problems, I'm not accepting the assignment. I'm not growing. I'm not maybe realizing why she maybe came into my experience. But just even thinking something tangible, you want money, you want more clients. Are you being consistent? Are you being optimistic? Are you being in that energy of like, oh, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. I'm totally in faith and trust. Of course it's happening. When you can get into that energy of course it's happening. I'm going to keep trucking along. I have no fucking clue how to do it right now or how it's going to come in, but of course it is. Who are you being in relation to your goal? This is most of the work. Are you being growth-minded? Or are you being inconsistent? Are you being pessimistic? Are you being anxious and controlling, which is very normal? I love my clients who tend to almost go into masculine or control-y because I tend to be the perfect match to like that energy, and I understand it, but it's also very easy to get into like, but how is it going to happen and what time and when is, and I don't see it yet. And you're like helicopter parenting your desires. Are you being in skepticism, non-belief? Are you blaming others? Are you guarded off, closed down? If any of these are resonating, it's good. It's helpful information with no story attached, no shoulds, no shame. Are you fully committed? So how do we use all of this information to create? We're going to end today by creating a little manifestation practice for yourself and understanding how you can move yourself forward now, and how even being here is moving you forward. Even just taking this in, being in this energy versus fear or lack or whatever else, it's helping you to move forward. So when we want to start to create a practice for ourselves or a plan, the first step with like 101 manifestation is know what you want. This could be inner well-being. This could be $10,000. This could be a soulmate, a raise, a promotion. I want to make $100,000 a year, whatever it is. Set that intention and then take yourself through what we've just talked about. You might want to take a screenshot or write madly. But when you want to manifest your goal, just start asking yourself, and you don't have to do all of this. I'm just sparking energy. Am I taking action toward my goal? When was the last time I did something that helped me? What are the physical actions associated with this goal? Like if I want a new client, what are maybe some ideas of some physical actions? Well, I could create a new offer. I could put myself out there. I could check my DMs for the people I have conversations going with, the people that have said, I want to work with you soon. I could circle back. I could do a podcast. I could mention something. Just ideas. What are some physical actions that are associated with this goal? Is it applying for jobs? Is it, less sugar? Is it moving your body? Can I take action toward learning how to create this goal? I want you to really think about that. It's 11:11. Because that is when we get in like, I don't know how. Sometimes I got to a money thing even just a few months ago where I was ready to not just make more money, but be more responsible, like have more of a system and kind of have more of like a process of like when the bills are paid and really being really in touch with like, okay, this is what's coming up this week. The money's there and I just wanted to clean it up. So I just started Googling things and YouTubing things. And then I remembered this course from this speaker I saw recently that I had bought, and it was about money. And I was like, oh yeah, totally. I can go back to that. And I just started watching it. And for a week, I was like, we're doing money energy. It's not just like, I want $100. It's not just that. It's like, how can I clean it up? Mixed in with a lot of sage and a lot of chanting, of course. But like, how can I clean it up? Okay, I'm going to start watching videos. Oh, that was interesting. That one thing. Yeah, good idea. Set a timer. Put all my bills in my Google Calendar so I can see them come. Good idea. Go back to that course. And I just invested like a week of only a little bit per day. It wasn't every day of learning. So don't be afraid to learn. If you go, I don't know how, that's like the most normal thing ever. Like nobody knows how until they do it. We expect ourselves to be masters of something that is new. But don't be afraid to learn how. How do I heal? How do I get healthier? What are some things I can try? So sometimes when we don't know what to do, I always go into how can you learn more about what to do, which is just it still gets you in the energy of like, ooh. And then you can make a list of 10 micro actions and 1 macro action that you can take. And this is where like, if you do more of like a list of 20, 30, your brain starts getting into really cool places where after like 8, you're like, I have no idea. And then you start getting more ideas of just micro actions. What is in line with health, in line with abundance, in line with well-being, in line with your transformation story? Where are you headed? What are 10 things that the butterfly version of you is telling the maybe goo phase part of you right now that's in the chrysalis or wherever you are in your journey? Just 10 micro actions. And then looking at who am I being? What is my energy with this goal? What's been coming up lately? What are my thoughts and emotions? Like you will have to, even if you do Joe Dispenza work or Manifestation Babe or other people that teach transformation, teach manifestation, it's always going to come back to these things as well with the, what are my thoughts? What are my emotions? Who am I being? Do you hate money and you're frustrated with money, but you want money? Those are going to combat each other. Am I open to receive? Am I being controlling or pinched off anywhere? And then looking at the assignment, which again is the deep dive of tomorrow. Am I learning? Am I meeting this with a growth mindset? What is this goal asking me to step into? When I moved past the live event thing and didn't just go, oh, I'm just sabotaging. I always do this, because that was always my story. I don't have willpower. Somebody else got the willpower gene or the pamphlet or the course that like I didn't get. I don't have willpower. I don't have what it takes to change. And when I started thinking about that and then realizing there was something deeper with the live event thing and seeing what it actually was, it's like, oh, I'm moving through. It's not just about booking more venues. It's about moving through. So what's been coming up? And then looking at how I was talking about the getting unblocked, like where's my energy misaligned? And some of these overlap. They're the same answers, but it all gets you to the same place. Where's my energy misaligned? What beliefs do I have that are directly contradicting? What does this goal bring up for me? I want a partner, but I'm fucking terrified. Okay, that's real. Let's go to that. So whenever you do any of these things, you are creating momentum and moving forward. And that's something I really want as we start wrapping up today. I really want you to understand that every little thing adds up. Your cup, your manifestation goal is like an empty cup. And as we put a little bit of water in the cup, put a little bit of water, everything you're doing is adding up, adding up, adding up, and pretty soon it's going to overflow and become manifested. Remember that up until the moment your manifestation happens, it feels like it's not happening. It feels like it's not there. But everything you do makes a difference. If someone was wanting to become an athlete or train for something, every single workout builds momentum, keeps you moving forward. Every single thing you do aids in your success, helps you to manifest. If you're wanting mindfulness, there's not just one mantra, but every time you flip a thought into love, every time you do a meditation, every time you do your gratitude list, every single time it's moving you forward. It's filling up your cup, and soon it will spill out, which is your manifestation, which is your desire coming. So everything you do is moving you forward, little, big, everything. Manifestation is a game of energy. It's a game of getting more and more in alignment until you see it coming into your experience. Getting more and more in alignment until you see it coming in. And you will start to see buds. You will start to see the little, plant that busts through the soil, and you're like, whoa. That's where I bring in, if any of you did the recent manifestation challenge or you've been in my work before, where we talk about evidence of success. Where can you see evidence of your success already in your experience coming in? Look at where you were 6 months ago. That's because of every little thing you've done. That's because all of the coaching you've had, or the therapy, or the self-growth, or the books, or the deep thoughts, or the breakthroughs, or the tears, or the workouts, or the water, or the crystals you put in your bra, I see you, or the mantras, or the releasing ceremonies, it's everything you've done has got you here. If somebody asked you, what's the secret? How did you get to where you are from where you were? You'd be like, it was a bunch of stuff, right? So just knowing that it's not all the pressures on your shoulders, but when you just start moving towards your goal, you not only start to be guided by your intuition, but you start to see things come in. So it's a game of energy. So set that intention. Say, I want to make $20,000 a month, or I want to be self-employed, or I want overflowing well-being. Take yourself through the audit, and each day, just make incremental upgrades moving forward in any of the categories, and watching how you are guided, what comes up for you, if there's like angel numbers and green lights, or if it feels sticky and like, okay, I tried Pilates and I didn't really like it. Okay, let's back up and try something else. So when with money, I'm just doing basically the same thing, but just exactly with money. So every day as you start to make, as you want to move forward with your manifestations, am I taking any action toward making money or learning how to make money? What are 10 things I could do? What is my relationship with money? What have been my thoughts lately? What's my vibe lately? That's going to be your number one indicator. Am I controlling? Am I obsessive? Am I learning? Am I growing? What was my childhood experience with money? And then how do I get unblocked? Like, where am I misaligned with what I say I want? What deep down does this goal bring up for me? And so every day you can take a micro or a macro action. Every day you can learn more about how to create your goal. Get inspired by people who have done it. Put yourself in the arena. Put yourself in the arena. And what I mean by that, it's obvious in some ways, maybe, but like learn, listen to podcasts, be part of, like groups or read the books. The people that have done what you want to do, consume. I mean, sometimes there's a time in life where you don't want to frantically consume, but those key teachers, those key people, like listen to them, be in their energy. It might be someone you know in real life that has overcome something. Get yourself in the arena. Instead of believing you can't do it, you are doing it. You will do it. There's no other option. So get your butt in the arena with those micro and macro actions. And if you're listening to this going like, I'm doing so much of this, there is a time to double down on your devotion. Double down on the action you're taking. Double down. Get more consistent. Create those boundaries around yourself and like, no, my walk is important. That is non-negotiable. There's a time to clench up and double down on that energy because that is showing spirit no. You're showing spirit, yes, but you're saying nothing is going to stop me from this goal. There is absolutely no way. Watch me go. And in some ways, I don't even care how long it takes. I am doing it. I am doubling down. I am worth that meditation. I am worth that investment. I am worth that walk. I'm worth more water. And so if you have been doing this work and all of this feels familiar, double down on what your intuition is saying to do. And that is going to stretch you because it'll come down to I am worth it. I am worth this yoga over emails. I am worth telling my kids, can you guys play for 20 minutes? I need to meditate. You are worth that. You're worth investing the time. Like they almost want to see if you, like the U-Haul example, are you investing as much as you want the universe to invest? And of course, sometimes it's money, but it's an effort. You can invest in something and not show up, like money-wise. It's not just about that. It's about where are you putting your effort, your focus, your attention. When you double down and you go, fuck it, I'm going on a walk. I'm worth that. It feels good to my body. That's an investment with an ROI. You are moving yourself forward. So then looking at daily, who am I being? Embodiment, playing in that new energy. If you are one of the souls learning about the rapid embodiment technique, playing in that new energy, cultivating more fun, more pleasure, more joy in your life, raising your vibration, focusing on being open. I'm open to creative possibilities, spirit. Wouldn't it be fun if today I move forward in my goal? Wouldn't it be fun if I was guided exactly what to do? Wouldn't it be fun if money came in today? Wouldn't it be fun if I showed up for myself fully today for my goals? Wouldn't it be fun if this month I blew my own mind and quantum leapt in the direction of my dreams? Wouldn't it be fun if I got clarity? I had a day a few months ago. I had created the manifestation code and I didn't have a name. And that usually comes first. And I was like, oh, the name will just land. It'll come. And I'm chilling. And I wanted to start talking about it. I wanted to start like doing the graphics. And that's such a big part of it for me where it just gets expressed and it starts being actually birthed. And I'm like, okay, the name. And I'm writing things out and like, like deliberate creator. Nah, the shift. I'm like, no, that's a weekend transformation. Okay, this and all these things are coming. And then one day I woke up because it had been like a month of like, I'm waiting for this fucking name to come in. So maybe you can relate. Maybe you're waiting for like the clarity, the one thing to do. I woke up and I said, Spirit, today is the day I find the name. That's it. I'm the deliberate creator. Today is the day. So I'm part of a few different entrepreneur like paid like groups, like mastermind membership, whatever. I was like, can anyone help me? I've got this idea, blah, blah, blah. 'Cause there's a bunch of other entrepreneurs. And so I kind of do that out. And then I'm sitting there and I just start going like code, like the formula, the code, huh? And I start going like manifestation code. Whoa, because it is a code. It's like a form. Whoa. And then I went to my husband. I was like, the manifestation code. He's like, whoa, like goosebumps. And I was like, and it just like unfolded. And I realized I went back to the post I had posted. It was like 24 minutes ago and nobody had even responded. And I'm like, delete. I've got my answer. And the rest of that day, it just like, manifestation code. And then I started talking about it. I'm like, the code. I'm like, oh, that feels big. And it's also got plans for certification in a bit to be able to certify people to literally do what I do. And so I was like, ooh, you could be manifestation code certified. And this whole thing just like came out where I was like, oh my goodness, that is what it is. And I went to my husband. I was like, this morning I declared that I was going to find the damn name to this program. And it landed. It's the manifestation code. And then the graphics have like matrixy code in it. And I was like, oh, so sometimes we have to also double down on that. No more waffling, no more feeling blocked, no more inconsistency. Today is the day. This month is the month. This week is the week. You get to move forward. You get to do that. So we can create a daily practice around this and just go, how am I going to move forward today? It's fun. This is your life. How am I going to grow? How am I going to expand? How can I show up for myself? And as you do an action, drink water, take your vitamins, go for a walk, reach out, do a post on Instagram. As you do an action, or if you play in your next level energy, if you know of the quantum onesie or embodiment techniques, as you do this, as you dance around, as you go like, yeah, I am winning the lottery. My manifestations are here. I'm excited. Or maybe it's that walk. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for a walk. As you do this, don't forget this part. Say to yourself, this is helping me manifest. Because your intention is everything. You can be on a walk saying, I hate my life, and it's not going to move you forward. You can be on a walk going, this is helping me to manifest. And you will start feeling the openness. Make reality yours. Take steps in the directions of your dreams, whether it's a being step, a doing step, a growing step, a putting yourself in the arena step. Double down on that devotion and call it what it is. This right now is helping me manifest. As I drink this water, it is helping my body to become more healthy. As I light this sage, it is clearing me. You wouldn't light sage and then just kind of like not even give it a thought. As you light it, you go like, with the intention of it clearing. Your intention is everything. Make a walk a manifestation walk. Make a shower a manifestation portal to your dreams. This is where we get wild. This is where we get fun. Put on a dance or a song and dance and tell yourself, this is helping me to manifest money. I am in the openness. I am in the energy of receiving. Make this reality yours. Instead of saying this thing isn't moving me forward or this isn't doing a lot, call it what it is. And if you want to get to the freaky side with me, that sounds slightly inappropriate, make everything yours. As I drive my car, I am manifesting money. As I sleep tonight, I am manifesting winning lotto numbers. As I do yoga, my partner is on the way. As I eat this gorgeous meal or enjoy a burger, clients are coming to me. Start having more fun with it. It's not so rigid. It's not so serious. Move in the direction of your goals with your being, with your actions, and call it what it is. Like I will say to my husband, I don't know, anyway, I'll just say to him like, hey, today's going to be a 5K day. And he's like, sweet. He doesn't even know sometimes like what has already happened in reality. He just goes along with it because we make our reality. And so a lazy mind never manifests. A mind left to default will slant into what you haven't done and how you're not good enough and how you haven't done it yet, especially with social media and we're comparing and we're in our own world. It's like, yeah, easy for you to say, but you're not in my fucked up head. It's like, I know what it feels like to feel like my head is my enemy. But I promise you, it is our best ally in deliberately creating. When we can get into that other side of the magic, take a vitamin and tell yourself, this is helping me to heal my body, to manifest, the placebo effect. Like, these things are right in front of us. The placebo effect has been studied all of our lifetimes. It's been studied forever. They can give clients a sugar pill or patients a sugar pill that does the same thing because they expect it to work. So realize that it's not just do these 2-3 things exactly. It's about, how do I expand my energy? How do I literally become that person? Because I've realized that with manifestation, as I do successfully manifest something, it's almost not a surprise, because I've been working at it, and not just backbreaking work. I've put myself in the arena. I've created this person. I've created this magnetism. So fucking of course it's going to happen. So make it yours. Remember, you're a deliberate creator. As you do any of the actions, call it what it is. Right now, this masterclass is helping me manifest. And remember that when you move yourself forward, you move yourself forward. No action is without reward. No action is pointless. No action is ignored. Go for the walk. It's your literal life depending on it. Do the journaling. Trust in yourself. And when you can't, when you don't know how, learn how. Step into the arena, watch a video, join a program, read a book. There's so much information. You don't have to take on all this stuff, information overload, but just realize that everything you're doing is moving you forward. And it's all within you. And I really realized that like the reason I healed through my junk, the reason is just so I can come back to this natural, deliberate creator where I have more trust in myself and my magic. And I know that I am worth showing up for. I am worth putting some energy forward. I am worth going for that walk or stretching or, investing in myself, whatever you can do with where you are. This is your literal life calling you. And it's your soul calling you. And especially you here right now, this is your soul calling you, that you are ready for your next level. And it's an expansion, not a how do I get there. It's an expansion that happens just like you're a different person right now than you were a year ago. You're a different person than you were 2 years ago. What's the difference? You've grown. You've expanded. You've moved through some things. There's some things you've overcome. There's some things you're still working on. That's what this is. So how can I expand a little bit more and know that your manifestations are on the other side? I heard my spirit team say about a month ago, Talia, if you knew that the money or the whatever it is, like your goals are on the other side of you doing yoga every day, like why would you not? And I was like, damn, because I was having this moment of like, well, I have stuff to do. And it's like, that is more important than all the stuff, even when it comes to my business or increasing my income. Because I'm being her. I'm not ignoring my needs to try to push forward. I am honoring my needs, and that moves me forward. So when you move yourself forward, you move yourself forward. So, until tomorrow, and we're going to do just a little bit of movement here in a second, a little activation, and then we're done. Thank you so much for being here through till the end. It's big stuff. It's a lot. But this is what your soul came here for. Whether it's my teachings or somebody else, you came here to deliberately create a life of freedom. And you are so worth it. And you're not even a beginner. You're nowhere close. You're like 3/4 or more through the marathon. You've done most of the heavy lifting. You're more resourced. You're more aware. You've healed more than ever. You're farther ahead than ever. Do not stop now. You are so close and already manifesting blessings into your life. So until tomorrow, you don't have to do all these things, but see what comes up. Take a micro or a macro action. Micro actions are small everyday things like drinking your water or going for a 5-minute walk or breath. Or a macro action could be making a major decision, investing in yourself at a high level, or, quitting your job. I don't recommend doing that unless it's actually aligned and that's what's been screaming at you. But taking these micro and macro actions or learning about how to create your goal, just go into I'm just going to learn. If it's something that's really stopping you, putting yourself in the arena of people that have done it or have a certain magnetism that you desire, embodiment, playing in that new energy, what would it be like to be more optimistic, to be more in faith, to be more in relief? Cultivate more fun, more pleasure. Again, just pick one or two of these things. How can you have more fun? How can you have more play? And I'll go through the rest of these examples, but remembering to say to yourself, this is helping me to manifest health, money, well-being, freedom. Go to the beach, dance around, laugh, focus on being open. Spirit, I am open to possibilities. Show me how good this can get. I am open to be guided. And then your intuition goes you should go to yoga class tonight, or water. And then you listen. Focus on being open. What has your intuition been saying lately? Go for it. There's never been anything more worth it. Go for it. Go in the direction of your dreams. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here. We're going to do a quick little movement, finding a comfy space, bringing in a little bit of movement, really just allowing what resonated today to come into your cells, breathing in the wisdom, the knowledge, the activation, the energy, releasing anything that did not, anything that didn't feel good. It's totally fine for it to just drift away, really breathing in everything that was here for you today. Hello, Seeker. Okay, so I'm just popping into the recording here and adding this in. So at this point in the masterclass, we ended with a beautiful energy activation. So it was just about 5 minutes or so where we brought a little bit of movement into our body, and I played a couple of songs that really just helped to activate all of this energy in your cells, to really turn on your next level, to start receiving and feeling and really just bringing your vibration up to a higher place. But because there are songs in the background, those songs are copyrighted and I cannot put them up on the podcast. So what we did is we created a short little video clip, which was about the last 5 or 7 minutes or so of this masterclass in a beautiful energy activation. So the link to that is in the show notes below. It'll just take you straight to a video that basically you can breathe along and move along with us. I highly recommend it. This was built into this masterclass on purpose to really activate everything we talked about. So feel free to check the show notes below to watch that, to move along with us for a couple of songs. If you are driving, you can listen. Just please don't close your eyes. Be safe. And I truly hope that you enjoyed your masterclass. And I cannot wait for part 2, where we dive into the spiritual assignment and we dive into everyday energetics that help you to manifest quickly. Thank you for listening to this masterclass. If you enjoyed this and you are looking for more, I highly recommend checking out the manifestation code. And if you officially signed up for this event live, you have until Saturday to use your code to get $100 off. So the manifestation code is a 10-week deep dive portal where we go step by step through manifestation, growth, and soul ascension that brings you out the other side more magnetic and understanding how to manifest exactly what you desire. This portal is not for everybody, but if you're here for manifestation, for freedom, for magic, for unlocking and unleashing yourself, then this is for you. Check the show notes below for the manifestation code.